Hello, hello, and happy Monday. It's been a hot minute. I feel like it's been so long since I've been here on this platform. Wanted to hop in and say hi, have lots to share with you as it is Monday, the 28th of October, and I'm super excited to be here with you. So, before I dive into our topic of the night, let me take a moment to look distracted to make sure I'm streaming where I need to be streaming. And then we're going to get this topic on the road because there's a lot to chat about. So if you are hopping in and I have not yet checked in and I don't see you there, just give me a minute. I am streaming on YouTube, so if you are watching from YouTube, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Share it out. If you have not subscribed yet, to do that as well. I'd appreciate it. And I do know that I am streaming on Twitter at this point in time, or X as we call it. And I'm going to go land on Facebook, which is where I usually do a lot of my communicating from. So again, super excited to be here with you, and really excited to be here to share all this energy we have coming through tonight, coming through as we go forward, rather not just coming through. Oops, I just skipped on my whole self here. So pardon for just a moment. I'm gonna just share this out. Let everybody know that I'm here, tagging a few people just so maybe some of you are around and not doing much. So if you're not doing much and you want to hop in and say hi, I would love to have you. And just take it from there. So again, like I said, there's a lot going on, and let me introduce myself just in case you're not sure who I am. Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I am the founder of Holistic Fitness NY, and I'm a Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, holistic integrative teacher, card creator, and card reader. And I'm super excited again to be here with you. As there is a lot going on. We are on the 28th of October, meaning that we are literally in the transition of moving out of October and getting ready for November. October carries a vibration between that 10 energy, which is about your soul's work and doing it in a new way. And also when we take the energy of the universal year 2024, which is an 8, it really is about the abundance and what you achieved in perhaps the last 10 months of 2024. And maybe you may even want to reflect all the way back to what have you have achieved since 2008, because a big part of what we'll be talking about this evening is a reflection of going back to 2008. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's popping in. I see I have Ann here with me. Ann, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm hoping that you can hang out and just take this in and then come back later and take some notes, because I know that that's how you do things. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to say things that may resonate with you in regards to what's going on in your world right now. I love the fact that you just put up some beautiful pink hearts matching my pink outfit. So thank you for that. So when we think about what you've achieved up until now over the last 16 years, going back to 2008. Now my math is not always the best. I love numbers, but I'm bad at adding, which is really, really funny when we think about it. So give me a minute. I'm trying to add in my head. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So the last 16 years, review what you have accomplished in the last 16 years. Know that everything that you have accomplished, every lesson that you have experienced, everything that might have looked like chaos is part of the lesson getting you to where you are right now, getting us ready to move into where we're still going. So when we think about the energy that we are in with that 8 from the universal energy of, again, accomplishment, success, more harmony, more balance, bringing more balance back into our lives. And a lot of that has to do with bringing things back into the easy process of doing and really living on purpose, living for purpose, and living in purpose is really the 3 statements I always like to say. And there could be something you may want to start asking yourself: are you living in purpose? Are you living on purpose? Are you living for purpose? And it really makes a difference, because if you're not living on purpose, for purpose, and in purpose, then what exactly are you doing? And that could be one of the reasons why you feel so out of sorts, so out of alignment, so out of harmony, because you're a spiritual being. And being that you're a spiritual being, it's so important to make sure that you're in your purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, I encourage you to take time and quiet yourself down and ask. One of my favorite things to do is when I have a question that I need some clarity on, some answers, besides talking to my mother, is going outside and finding a tree and placing my hands on the tree and asking the tree to give me some insight. And once I place my hands on the tree for give it about 3 minutes or 5 minutes, then I literally turn around and I place my spine up against the tree to help exhilarate and cleanse my chakra system so I can gain some clarity. So you want to be mindful, because if you're not sure what your purpose is, that could be one of the biggest reasons to why you're feeling so out of alignment and out of balance and out of harmony. I know for me, when I wake every day, I know I'm waking into harmony because I enjoy what I do. I do what I do. I do what I love, and I love what I do. When someone asks, how was work today? I say, I didn't work, I played. Because of much about what I do, especially right now, sharing wisdom with you, this is play for me. This is my way of tapping into my highest purpose and sharing the wisdom that has been downloaded, the notes that I've taken, so I can provide it to you, give it to you so you can better understand who you are. So when we think about this 10 vibration from October and the universal energy of 8, and we bring those two numbers together, the 1 and the 8 that is, you get a 9 vibration. So the entire month of October was about your transformation. It was about something coming to an end. It was about a decluttering process, because that 9 energy carries a vibration to declutter. Not only decluttering the closet or your drawer or your pocketbook or the refrigerator, most importantly, learning how to declutter the mind, because our mind is the very thing that keeps us from having the harmony and balance, because we're so focused on thinking about everything we need to do, everything we did yesterday, everything we have to do tomorrow, that we really do lose out on this very moment of what's called the present. And we have to get in the habit of getting used to being right here, right now, and enjoying that time. Because again, even this moment in time will end, and then there'll be another moment in time. So the endings, that decluttering of the clutter that we hold on to, the very weight that may keep us feeling heavy, our emotional doors for that matter, the heaviness. Now, because I'm a big advocate of holistic fitness, I speak on the topic of taking care of our physical body. And a part of taking care of our physical body is learning how to let go of the heaviness that we carry. That heaviness could be contributing to the very weight that you are in such a rush to quote unquote lose. So there's so much to take in this vibrational energy of 9, is to pay attention to what are you decluttering, what is ending, and what is transforming. Now, we think about the number 9 based on astrology, it really is about the higher consciousness. It's about your dream state. It's about your psychic abilities. It's about your wisdom. It's about your subconscious mind as well. And the number 9 is associated with the 9th house, which is associated with Sagittarius. So we think of Sagittarius energy, we are thinking of fire. Fire is action. So again, this month of October has been just that, has given us the fire within us. Now we have a lot of other things going on in the month of October. We're on the 28th of October already, and we think of that date just in itself, that 2-8 energy, breaking it down again between numerology and astrology. The 2 is the relationships we're in. All the relationships, every person, everyone who's connecting with me right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, Every person, that's the relationship I have a contract with. Doesn't matter how long that relationship is. It could be literally in this very short time, I could have said something already that you just needed to hear, and you go about your way. So it's not about how long the relationship is, it's about what you learned from the relationship. So you can have a relationship that you know somebody for 10 years, but in the reality of things is that that person's just there. You're not really learning anything from that person. They're not learning anything from you. They're just sort of there. It's like that sweater you have in the closet that you haven't worn in the last 10 years, and for whatever the reasons are, you're just choosing to hold on to it. This could be the time where you decide, you know what? How do I value the sweater? Why is the sweater in my closet? It's the same concept on the friendship or that person that you just sort of holding on to. What does this person bring into my life? How am I making a difference in their life? Like, I have a rule for myself on a personal level. If I am in a friendship with somebody and I do not feel like I am serving my purpose in that friendship, where I do feel like I cannot have a conversation that's being downloaded for that person, and that person is really not open to the knowledge that I bring to the table, I then ask the universe to clear our paths. And if within a few days our paths start to separate, I know that I've served my purpose and I no longer need to be in that friendship. Now, if that person comes back into my life at some point or another without any of me doing anything for that, and the universe brings them in, then that's a different story. And then I revisit that relationship and see what's there for us to grow together. What am I teaching? What are they teaching me? Because that's the process that I do. So we think about that number 2 energy based on numerology and even astrology for that matter. It really is about your relationships. It's about how you value the time that you are in with a person. Whether it's a short period of time or a lot of time, how are you valuing that time together? Because it's really important. When you leave that person for the day, or you end the phone call with that person, did you end that phone call in a nice upbeated space? Did you feel better after that phone call, or that connection ended for that moment? Or did you feel drained and tired and like literally your energy was sucked out of you? You need to evaluate this, because again, you want to value you just as much as you want to value them. So we think about that number 2 in astrology. It's associated with Taurus energy, and Taurus is ruled by Venus energy. So Venus is about your relationships. It's about how you value the relationships with one another and also with your physical body. So this number 2 energy is really about that connection you have with your physical body, paying attention to your physical body. If you follow me on a regular basis, you hear me say this a lot. Your physical body is your biggest teacher. You can learn so much from your physical body when you pay attention to your physical body. If you're taking for granted your physical body and you're not paying attention to the messages that show up, you're missing out on some interesting insight. So I invite you today and go forward to pay attention to whatever shows up in your body, whatever that might look like for you. It can show up as daily pain, illness, disease. It can show up as anything, so pay attention. Especially when we think about the energies we are moving into. When we're experiencing planetary shifts, for example, the moon, and I speak on this a lot. The moon is the one planet that rotates more frequently than any other planet. The moon rotates every 2.5 days. Every 2.5 days, we are experiencing a shift in an element, meaning we're still currently in where the moon is in Virgo, which is Earth energy. Grounding, supporting, feeling protected. Could also make you feel a little distracted and overwhelmed, because when you get so grounded or you're not grounded, you may find yourself not being very productive because you're all over the place. You're in that multitasking place, and sometimes when we think we're great multitaskers, we're really not. So, and that's that Earth energy. There's 2 sides to every element. Now, as of later this evening, I believe it's going to take place. Let me double check the time. Make sure I'm in the right month, because that would be helpful. Yes. So at exactly 11:54 p.m., which is tonight, so we're not there yet, the moon is going to transit into Libra. And we take up Libra energy. Libra is air. So Libra is about our mind, our intellect, our thinking, our wisdom, our maybe overthinking for that matter, overanalyzing things, putting too much energy on something that you don't need to put energy on. So just within 2.5 days, we went from Earth into air. So pay attention because that could be causing some discomfort, headaches and migraines. It could be causing um, just a lot of discomfort in the body. And that's just from the moon's energy when we think about it. So imagine when we have other planetary shifts taking place and where those planets are on your chart. And it's really important to pay attention to where is your moon on your chart? What house? What sign is your moon in plays a big part. Now, for me, I have my moon in the eighth house. I'm sorry, that's not true. I misspoke. I have my moon in my seventh house. I always get it confused because both my seventh and eighth house is associated with Aquarius. But my moon's in my seventh house. Now, remember when I said to you earlier about how Taurus is ruled by Venus energy? Well, the seventh house is ruled by Venus energy because the seventh house is Libra's energy. So pay attention as the moon moves into Libra, how that's going to play a big role on my moon's energy because of the placement it's in. And I know this can get a little confusing when you're not following astrology on a regular basis. Astrology is a study. Astrology is a practice. Astrology is your navigation system. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage you to take some time, connect with me to want to learn about your navigation system, because then it can give you a better understanding to what's actually going on in your world. Now, as I've said, I have my Aquarius moon in my seventh house. Aquarius is also Earth as well, as air. So that Libra moon and my moon in Aquarius, they're both air signs. So now, what made that view for me? What will that help me with? That can really get me in a space that really allow me to be more balanced. I can be more intellectual, and I can be able to research and bring wisdom to you. And especially knowing that I'll be receiving downloads over the next 2 days, 2.5 days, with both the collective moon's energy and my personal moon's energy. So it's really important to pay attention. So let's say, for example, your moon sign happens to be in, I don't know, let's say Aries, because that's what's popping up in my head right now. And let's say your moon sign happens to be in Aries in your second house. So again, remember, second house, maybe you don't remember because maybe I didn't say it. Second house is also associated with Venus and Taurus. So, and your Aries moon is about you. Who am I? So you may be in your feelings. With the moon in Libra collectively and your personal moon in Aries, there's an opposition going on. So you may have this little fight going on with yourself about how you're feeling about you, how you feel about people viewing you. So if that's you, pay attention if you happen to have your moon in Aries, specifically sitting, let's say, second house. Second house is your relationships with other people. So that Venus energy is going to be lit up for you on how you value how other people see you. Now, in the bigger terms of pictures here, it's really none of your darn business what people think about you. And when you can get to that space of understanding that, you allow yourself to be more at ease because you don't really care. You're ready to show up just as you are. So when you think about that moon energy and that planetary shift that happens every 2.5 days, just think about the emotional roller coaster you may be going on every time that moon shifts. So just in case you're wondering, once the moon rotates into Libra energy and stays there for 2.5 days in the air energy, it will then move into Scorpio's energy, which, by the way, where our new moon will be occurring on November 1st. Scorpio happens to be water. So we think about water. Water is your emotions. Water is pretty much what your body's made up of. So being that the new moon will be in Scorpio on November 1st to about November 3rd, pay attention to what goes on with your body. Pay attention to is your body maybe a little bit more bloated than usual because again Scorpio is water energy. So you need to pay attention. And where do you have Scorpio on your chart? What house is Scorpio in? Now for me, I happen to have Scorpio sitting in my, I was sitting in two placements. I have it in my fourth and fifth house. So when I think about the fourth house in Scorpio, fourth, as I put it, is home, meaning family. It's also your work, and it's also connected to your physical body. So for me, I'm going to want to pay attention to that moon's energy in Scorpio because it could very well have an impact on my physical body. Now keep in mind, new moon energy is about new things, something new coming in, a new way of thinking. Scorpio is the transformation. Now at this point in time, as the new moon is in Scorpio, we will also have the sun. We have the sun sitting in Scorpio energy. So between the new moon and the sun sitting in Scorpio, the massive transformation that's occurring, the changes and shifts that's happening for you right now. And it doesn't matter if you are not a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascending. We all have Scorpio in our chart. Also paying attention to Scorpio rules the 8th house. So whatever's in your 8th house placement is going to get lit up with this energy of Scorpio season and that new moon. So it's really important to pay attention to what's happening. Now you remember earlier I said that I have Aquarius in my 8th house. So my 8th house in Aquarius is going to be lit up. Now I happen to have Mercury sitting there. So what that means for me is for me to pay attention to the experience that I will go through in regards to the transformation. Remember that I said earlier about 2024 is the universal energy of the 8. This is about the karmic cycle. This is about the transformation. This is about success and achievements. So again, take a look at your 8th house placement and see what's going on there. Because with this new moon in Scorpio, you may notice some sort of transitioning happening for you. You may notice that you get some recognition. People may recognize how much you've accomplished if you work for a company. They may recognize all that you have accomplished up until now, leading into some rewards for that matter. So pay attention to that. So in addition to the sun and the new moon on, again, November 1st, when we have this new moon's energy, also pay attention that on November 1st, I'm just pulling out my calendar again because there's a lot going on in this energy. Gotta make sure I'm on the right calendar. I often do that. I often forget to flip it over. So on this energy, again, the new moon on November 1st. Then we talked about, again, shifts and changes. What's coming through. On November 2nd, hello there, Anne. How are you, my love? On November 2nd, we're going to experience Venus. And I'm gonna misspeak here. Is it Venus or Mercury? Mercury. Let me get my glasses. I love it when I can't read because I can't see it. Mercury. Mercury on November 2nd is going to be making its way into Sagittarius energy. Now let's talk a little bit about Mercury's energy. Mercury is your experience. Mercury is how we communicate, is how we travel. We're very familiar with Mercury's energy because Mercury is the planet we most know that retrogrades because it retrogrades the most frequently. Out of all the planets, Mercury retrogrades about 3 to 4 times a year, where all the other planets only retrograde, give and take, once a year, and some of them do not retrograde every year, so we need to pay attention to that. So again, I ask you to look at your chart to see where you have Mercury on your chart. What house is Mercury sitting in? Now again, for me, and if you're taking notes, you're going to start to see there's some connections based on my chart. For me, Mercury happens to be sitting in my 8th house in Aquarius. So that 8th house is still being lit up because we have that Scorpio season happening. So there's a lot going on how I'm experiencing this energy. Now, collectively, Mercury's in Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is fire. And this is a collective energy. So what this is may have you feeling is the need to take action, because our fire elements is about taking action. Sagittarius is your higher wisdom. Sagittarius is like really tapping into your dreams, wanting to live out your dreams. What is your biggest dream that you have not lived out just yet? This is about your imagination as well, living out your wildest imagination. When we talk about Sagittarius energy, it's also about your psychic abilities, your spiritual evolutions that you're going through or will be going through. Maybe you're not awakened enough to know that you are going through. So we think about Mercury in Sagittarius. Let's understand again that we do have that energy because Mercury rules Gemini, and right now we do have Jupiter in Gemini. So those two planets are going to be playing together between again Jupiter in Gemini and Mercury in Sagittarius. So those crisscrossing each other's energies. Paying attention, Sagittarius again is fire, Gemini is air. So paying attention to what is lighting up your desire to be intellectual, to be curious, to start to wonder. Again, the theme for November is really about change and shifts. Whether you are ready for it or not. Do you remember when you were a child, that game, Ready or Not, Here I Come? That's the November's energy. Ready or not, here we come. Change and shift. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen right in front of your eyes. This is the time to really start paying attention to how your astrology navigation system is really matching what's going on in your real world, because it is your navigation system. It doesn't lie. So we think about this additional energy on November 3rd. We have Mars, the planet of action, the planet of leadership, the planet of the warrior. And Mars is the ruler of Aries energy. So Mars is fire again. So again, when we think about the Mercury being in Sagittarius and Mars being a fire planet, getting ready to move into Leo on November 3rd. Leo is fire. Leo is change. So right now, if we really think about this energy we have going on here, what we have going on in this very moment, and I just want to double check something before I go further. Right now, what we have going on, just between November 2nd and November 3rd, we have two planets literally moving into fire energy. Two planets. We have Mercury moving into Sagittarius, fire sign. Mars moving into Leo, fire sign. So what does this mean for us? This means action. This means action. Now, what it could also mean for us, for those who do carry a lot of fire in their chart, this could also feel like an overwhelm. It could be like you have so much to do and you just don't know what to do first. Like for me, what usually happens when there's a lot going on for me and I have a lot to go on to do, I get bursts of what I like to call ADHD experiences, where I get distracted, I get overwhelmed, I'm like boom, 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 and then I sort of have to bring myself to a grounding space so I can focus better. And that could very well happen as well. So really pay attention to what's in your chart. Where are these placements? Where do you have Mercury sitting? What house is Mercury in? What house is Mars in? Now, I happen to have Mars in my 10th house. And in my 10th house is associated with Aries. So let me talk a little bit about the 10th house, because this is really aligned with the energy of Scorpio, as we are in Scorpio season. And how is it aligned with that when I just said earlier that Scorpio is associated with the 8th house? You'll understand in just a minute. So when we think about the 10th house energy, 10th house is associated with your, as we shall say it, your higher purpose, your reasons why you're here. 10th house is associated with Capricorn's energy. Now, by now, you know where I'm going with this, okay? Where this big change and shift is coming in. Capricorn is your soul's work. Capricorn is the fame, it's the success, the achievement. It's the masculine energy. It's the do. And as I said earlier, if you want to sit back and reflect about all that you've accomplished, reflect back to 2008 as Pluto, the planet of transformation, the planet of deaths, and the planet of rebirth. Because as something dies, something else gets reborn. And Pluto has been in Capricorn energy since 2008, stayed there right through 2023, and then moved into Aquarius for a short period of time, and then moved back into Capricorn where it is right now, and has just recently gone direct in Capricorn. Now, this is where the big shift and change is coming in, because as of November 19th, we're going to experience Pluto transiting out of Capricorn and moving into Aquarius. This is big energy. So just as I asked you to take a look at your chart to see where you have Mercury and Mars and where your moon is, I want you to take a look at where you have Capricorn, because that's a really big placement for you right now, your placement of Capricorn. What house is Capricorn in? Because that's where the changes are coming. That's where the endings are happening. That's where you're going to see what's coming to an end. That placement right there. I was working with a woman early, doing a reading with her, and she happens to have Capricorn in her fourth house. Now, fourth house, again, as mentioned, is home. It's family, it's the body, it's her career. And interesting enough, she's pregnant. So, of course, that's associated with the family, and it's associated with her physical body. And she's getting ready to give birth. There's a transition, a transformation occurring, an ending leading into a rebirth. And I did a reading the other day where someone has their Capricorn energy sitting in their space of the 8th house, which is other people's money. It's about inheritance. It's also about the shadow work. And that particular person is getting ready to transition from their job. So this Capricorn placement will give you insight to where this Pluto ending is coming from. So there's no big surprise. So if you really pay attention to your natal chart, you would have an understanding to where this big ending, where this big transformation is coming in from, where the changes are coming in. Now, I happen to have Capricorn, interesting enough, sitting between two placements. I have Capricorn sitting in my 6th house. Now, 6th house is health and fitness. It's our body system. It's our cellular system. It's our chakra system. It's all about the physical body. It's about health. The Capricorn is sitting in my 6th house. It takes up a big chunk of it. It's also sitting a little bit in my 7th house. Now, 7th house, we already know, is about value. It's about my agreements. It's about my belief system. It's what I'm married to. Now, if you've been following me regarding my videos, you know that a big part of what's taking place with Pluto in Capricorn for me is how I'm delivering my message to you about your physical body, about the agreements you have with your physical body. It's about your belief system about your physical body. It's about what you've been conditioned to believe about different health issues regarding your physical body. I'm a big advocate. I'm speaking about it every single day about midlife women, the menopausal portal. And that's a big contribution to my Capricorn placement in my 6th and 7th house, where Pluto is playing a big part in that placement. Now, I happen to have Pluto on my natal chart in my 3rd house in Virgo. So now let's talk about that comparison. Virgo rules the 6th house. And in the 3rd house is the experience. It's the experience. So these placements, because I'm very familiar with my natal chart, are going to be lit up based on this energy we have coming through. So again, based on my chart, and I can do this for your chart as well, I can help you understand and and make it easier to understand so it's not so overwhelming for you. And it doesn't matter what cycle or chapter you're in your life right now. You could be in a space in your life where you're empty nesting. All your children are in the process of either going on to college, maybe they're adults and they're out and married already, and you've been empty nesting for quite some time. You may be in that, what I like to call that renewal in reference to the relationship you have with your partner, where you're really getting to know them again, a transition happening. You may be going through some sort of transition with your own physical body, getting to know your body in a different way. So every one of us are at a specific chapter and cycle in our lives, and this Pluto in Capricorn is highlighting that. So it's really important to take a look at your chart to see where is Capricorn on your chart, what house. I was doing a reading for a client of mine a week ago, and she's got a full Capricorn placement. She's got about 3 or 4 of her planets sitting in Capricorn. And if I remember correctly, I think they are merged between 2 different houses. Don't exactly remember what the houses are, but when you do have a lot of planets sitting in one sign, maybe merged in 2 different houses, but sitting in one sign, that means there's a lot of energy, and that means you may very well be going through a major transformation, because remember, those planets that are sitting in that placement are also associated with other zodiac signs. So, for example, let's just say, for argument's sake, you may have Saturn in your Capricorn placement. We're not even going to go with a house just yet. We're just going to say Saturn in Capricorn. So, meanwhile, Saturn is about restructuring. What is restructuring? What foundation is restructuring? Are you restructuring your physical house? Is your body being restructured? Or is your career being restructured? Because that's that Saturn energy. There's a reset going on. There's a karmic completion happening in your Capricorn placement. Keep in mind, again, Capricorn is the work that you're here to do. So you do have Saturn in your Capricorn placement, and with Pluto being in Capricorn collectively, you have a massive transformation coming aboard. You're already in that motion. This is not even about that it's getting ready to start. This is what it is. And I want to bring to your attention that when we talk about Saturn's energy, on November 15th, on our full moon, by the way, we already talked about the new moon's energy. Now we have the full moon on November 15th. Full moons are about endings. And on November 15th, we will experience Saturn going direct, because Saturn has been in retrograde and now it's going to move forward. So when we are in a retrograde period, retrograde means review, reflect, reboot, recharge. So think about it this way: when you are charging your cell phone, and hopefully you do this better than I do, that when you charge your cell phone, you put your cell phone down and let it charge. You don't use it while it's charging. Like I do. 90% of the time I have my cord attached to my phone while I'm using it. Anyway, so when you're in that space, that means it's in a space of reflecting, not doing anything. So now that Saturn goes direct on the 15th, everything that Saturn is responsible for, again, structure, your foundation, your reset. Think about your body system resetting itself, your nervous system, your but I can't even talk tonight. Your cellular system, your nervous system, your chakra system, that's all being reset. Now, again, in this particular case, this particular client has Saturn in Capricorn. So there's a massive transformation going on, a reset, a karmic reset. So with Saturn going direct, I want you to look at where you have Saturn on your chart. What house is Saturn in? Now, I happen to have Saturn in my 11th house. Now, Saturn in the 11th house is about my community. And we already know that Saturn's about a reset. Saturn's about the restructuring. Saturn's about the foundation. So now that Saturn's moving forward, my community is going to change. And I'm already seeing that. I'm already seeing that I'm connecting with new people and that my collaborations are expanding. So this is not something that's new to me because I'm seeing it already. So this is what may be happening for you depending on where you have your Saturn placed. Now, if you have other planets in that placement with Saturn, then remember you're going to have other things happening as well. So going back to that Capricorn energy, where is Capricorn and how that's playing a role with that Saturn energy as well. And let's keep in mind that Saturn is in Pisces collectively. Pisces is a water sign. So with Saturn being in Pisces and it's in water, this restructuring may be an emotional process for you because there may be some things going on. Maybe you have Saturn in your first house, or maybe you have Pisces in your first house. First house is self. So there could be a restructuring on self. Now, I would like to think that if someone has Saturn in their first house, they are literally on a spiritual journey right now. There is some spiritual transformation occurring for them to get to that space of understanding who are they. So see how this is coming together as this mapping of getting to know who you are? So the next transition that's taking place in the month of November, because like I said, month of November is a busy month of shifts and change and shifts. Now, as the next changes come through, these are more coming through out of Scorpio season and moving into Sagittarius season. So the next change that will take place will be in Sagittarius season, and that will be Mercury will begin its retrograde on November 25th in Sagittarius. So again, that retrograde is going to be in that fire energy. And Mercury is about traveling. It's about communication. It's about learning. But because, again, it's in a retrograde, this may not be about taking on a new study, although, contradiction to that rule, if you happen to have Mercury retrograde on your natal chart, this is a perfect time to take up a new study. Because that Mercury retrograde on your chart is only going to be amplified for you to take on some new things. So that's something else you want to pay attention to. What planets on your chart are in retrograde at the time when collectively those planets are in retrograde? Because retrogrades for you is the green light to go. As opposed to for most of us, it's a pause, it's a reflection, it's a review. So when we think of Mercury retrograding on November 25th, it will go direct again on December 15th. So fairly like 3 weeks, but we'll have that period of time just before holiday season. We'll be in retrograde, Mercury retrograde during Thanksgiving, but by the time Christmas and all the other holidays get here, Mercury will have gone direct. And most people are concerned about that because, again, Mercury is about communication. And even when Mercury's in direction, many of us have a challenging time with communication for whatever the reasons are. So if you think about this energy that we're speaking on, and I want to come back into that Pluto Capricorn energy that we're in, and remembering that as of November 19th is the last day. The last day, and I'll give it, if I can, I'm going to give you the time. On November 19th at 3:29 p.m. Eastern Time, and you might want to write that down so you can pay attention. 3:29 p.m. Eastern Time is when Pluto will move out of Capricorn and move into Aquarius. And will spend its time in Aquarius for the next 20-something years. So this is one of the reasons why this energy we're in right now is such a big deal. And this is also one of the reasons why we are noticing a lot of changes going on in the collective, a lot of changes happening with politics, because Capricorn is about politics. Capricorn rules government. So if you're paying attention, and I don't know how anybody couldn't be paying attention right now to what's going on with politics, whatever's going on with politics is literally a mirror of this Pluto Capricorn energy, this massive change that we're literally seeing right in front of our eyes. This massive change. Massive change. This death into this rebirth. Now, when we talk about the Capricorn energy, we know that it's about your success, it's about the work, your soul's work, it's about fame, it's about the masculine energy. And Capricorn is the I. I am doing it this way. That's the Capricorn energy. Now, in regards to the Aquarian energy, Aquarian is the collaboration. Aquarian is the vision. Aquarian is the visionary. With Pluto being an Aquarius, it really is learning how to collaborate, learning how to connect, learning how to find your community. So again, where do you have Aquarius on your chart? What house is Aquarius in? Because that's the placement that's going to get lit up for you. Now, as I said earlier, I have Aquarius in 2 houses. I have it in my 7th and my 8th house. That's big energy. So my 7th house is, again, is my agreements, it's my relationships, it's my belief system, it's my agreements, it's what I'm married to, those contracts. The 8th house is about the shadow work. It's about the inheritance. Other people's money is the 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by Pluto and Scorpio. So it's the transformation that my 8th house and Aquarius will be going. Now, being that I do have Aquarius in my 8th house, during this Pluto Aquarius energy for the next 20-something years, is going to light that up. So I'm very excited. I'm kind of curious and wondering what events will be occurring during this 20-something years Pluto sits in Aquarius. So it's lighting me up. And then because I do have Aquarius in my 7th house, it is, again, 7th house is associated with Libra and ruled by Venus. So it is about that balance. It is about values. It's about how I value what it is that I do and the different agreements that I have, and wanting to bring more balance into my life, and wanting to help clients like yourself bring more balance into your life. That's my biggest mission, my biggest purpose, the reason why I'm here. So paying attention to this, and I know I've given you more than a mouth size of information. I know at this point in time, your plate is overloaded with a lot of wisdom right now, and you're probably sitting there wondering, how do I take this all in? My suggestion would be, take some time, pen to paper, come back, rewatch this. Take your notes. And when you take your notes, take notes the way I take notes. Write down things, skip a few lines so you can really read what you're writing, so it's not scribbly. Come back and re-listen to it without taking notes so you can really pay attention. See what stands out for you. So you may listen and watch this a couple of times, and you may notice that different things will stand out for you. Take a look at your natal chart. If you don't have a natal chart, I encourage you to get one. Feel free to reach out to me to get a natal chart. I'll be more than happy to run your natal chart for you. And then, of course, you and I would have to have a conversation. We'd have to sit down and look at your placements. In fact, come the new year, probably sometime in March, so pay attention to this, I will be reintroducing my astrological and numerology 12-week course. And in addition to that course, I will be incorporating what's called transit and chart readings, where what that will look like is that we would actually look at your transit, your personal transits day to day, what's going on in your day to day life, so you can better understand where there may be chaos, where there may be pleasure, where there may be some support. And that literally you have a personal transit chart that you can view this and understand it. So that's going to be included with my astrological and numerology 12-week course, that when you sign up for it, you'll have a membership that will allow you to go the entire year with me in looking at your chart. Although the course is only 12 weeks, the membership of that course is going to give you a 12-month connection with me, where we meet twice a month, every month, and take a look at your natal chart. And this is open to those who will be signing up for my astrological and numerology makeup course. And of course, in the beginning, there's going to be a promotion to get you in, and then eventually will wean its way up to the regular price. So be on the lookout for that promotion showing up. I will probably start promoting it in January. So if this is something you're interested in, what you can do is send me an email. My email is running across the screen, letting me know you're interested in the course, that you would like to be put on my list, my waiting list for that. So as we get closer to the date, you can take advantage of the early bird special, so you don't end up paying the regular price, and learn about you. Because when we talk about the energy we're moving into in 2025, paying attention to those numbers, right off the bat, there's a 5 in that number. And 5 is about change. And that's exactly what 2025 is going to be about. It's about massive change that we're experiencing. You look at the overall energy of 2025, which adds to a 9. A 9 universal energy year is about reviewing the last 9 years of your life. Just as I asked you to take a review of 2008 through 2023, this is really scoping in a little bit to the last 9 years of your life. What have you done in the last 9 years of your life? What big moments have occurred in your life in the last 9 years of your life? And you can even make it shorter. You can look at the last 9 months of your life. But the true energy of 2025 is a reflection of the last 9 years of your life. And seeing what shows up, the patterns, the cycles, the chapters. And with that being said, understand that along with the universal energy of 9, at that point in time, we will have several planets, such as Neptune and Saturn, getting ready to transit out of the Pisces energy, which is the 12th zodiac sign, and begin a whole new cycle as it moves into Aries energy. And Aries is your I am statement. So when we think about Neptune, it's your I am statement to your spiritual evolution. When we think about Saturn in Aries, Saturn is your I am statement to your foundation and your restructuring. So the energy becomes very different, because with Neptune and Saturn both in Pisces, which is water, it was about your feelings. How are you feeling about your evolution? How are you feeling about the structures changing? Now that it moves into Aries, it's fire. It's action oriented. Action oriented. It's about things shifting and moving. Again, completion, the universal energy of 9. We are still in a process of completing things. We are still in a process of transforming as we move into 2025. Now, if you think that 2024 was quite of a challenge year due to all your different lessons, well, I'm going to say it like this. Buckle up, buttercup, because 2025 is going to be a ride of your life, because we do have many planets getting ready to transit out of a zodiac sign that they've set in for quite some time. Again, starting with Pluto, where Pluto has literally set in Capricorn for the last 16 years, transiting into Aquarius for a short time, and now will be transiting into Aquarius for the next 20-something years. Yes, that's an evolution. And then, like I said, we have Neptune and we have Saturn getting ready to make its transition. So as we move into 2025, make sure you have your seatbelt on. Make sure you're ready for this ride of your life. And more importantly, make sure you connect with me. Book that session now. So this way here, you can take advantage of getting to know who you are on a soul level. I'm going to put something else out there for you, for those who are interested. This Sunday, what date is this Sunday? November 3rd at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, I am participating in a psychic event. It's virtual. I've already posted it earlier. If you are interested in attending, it's $20 to come in to the, what they call it, the breakout rooms, where you can choose from 5 different psychics to have a reading with. If you choose to want to have that reading with me, you can. And if you choose to want to get a taste of somebody else, you can. If that's something you're interested in doing, please let me know and I'll send you the information so you can reserve your spot to be in the breakout room and get to meet other psychics. Now, I use the word psychics. I myself don't really fall under the category of a psychic. I've never really called myself a psychic. Everything under the umbrella, however, is fitting for the event. Now, if for whatever the reasons are, this Sunday you're busy and can't make that, and you are interested in booking a reading to get a better understand to where this energy is coming from, please go ahead and reach out to me and book your reading. Book your reading. You can start off with a complimentary 15-minute reading, and if that reading goes a little longer, once we set up that appointment, I will give you the rates if that reading should go longer, that you have the opportunity to extend it from that point to a longer reading, if that's something you would like. I encourage you to do so, because this is a great way to get to know who you are from a soul level. It's also a great way to get a better understanding to what's actually going on in your life. Where is this big shift happening for you? What chapter is coming to an end? Because remember, Pluto coming out of Capricorn. We will not ever experience another Pluto Capricorn in our lifetime. Never. It takes Pluto 248 years to get through all of the zodiac signs. So it's going to take Pluto 248 years to come back to Capricorn. I don't believe you and I are going to be here. Our great-great-grandchildren may be here. They may get to experience a Pluto Capricorn. But in our lifetime, this is the last time we're experiencing a Pluto Capricorn. This is big energy. Massive energy. Massive energy. And because Pluto rules Scorpio energy, this is, and because of this ending happening in Scorpio season, this is powerful. This is depth. This is where we very well will experience hearing many people crossing over. Remember, we do have the 1111 portal coming in, and that 1111 portal is big. Now, thank goodness we don't have anything massive going on the 1111 portal, and I shouldn't say that. I'm going to take that back. Why? Because we happen to have Venus on the 1111 portal entering Capricorn. Quite interesting, shall we say. Right before, several days, 7 days before Pluto transits out of Capricorn. So that's a big energy right there, where on that 1111 portal, with Venus entering Capricorn. And again, remember, Venus is associated with our 2nd and 7th house. So those 3 placements you want to pay attention to: your Capricorn placement, your 2nd house, in your seventh house when Venus enters Capricorn. Those will be the houses that's going to play along with this Pluto's transitioning out of Capricorn's energy. And I know I've said a lot, and you're probably sitting with your head spinning with all this insight. I encourage you to come back and re-listen. Come back and re-listen just to listen. Then come back and listen with your notebook and pen and write notes. By the time you come back and listen and write your notes, I'm hoping at that point you have reached out to me to book your session. So once you have your notes, you and I will come together and discuss those notes. And then after we discuss those notes, you could then go back and listen to the video again and have a better understanding to what's actually going on in your chart. In fact, probably tomorrow, and you can look for this tomorrow, the 29th of November, you can look for a promotion that will take place between the 1st, November 1st, through this energy leading up to the 19th of November, probably a 1 week period. So there'll be a 7-day period where if you are interested in booking a reading, this would be the time to book the reading. So you can better understand who you are from a soul level. All right, I'm going to take a look at the comments, see what's going on, and then we're going to call it a night because there's a lot to take in. And I'm sending you lots of love for what you're experiencing right now, putting you in a bubble of just pink light. And again, with everybody else, again, we are in this transformational period. Scorpio season really is about your shadow work. It's about the depths. It's about the rebirth. There's a depth, there's a rebirth. You ever notice that when you hear about someone who's crossed over, a family member who's died, you also hear somebody say, oh, so-and-so just had a baby, or so-and-so was pregnant. You ever notice that? These are the things I want you to pay attention to because there's a connection. There's a connection. Just as something dies, something is born. That's the connection. More so during the Scorpio season. And this is a ride of your life during the season. The Scorpio season, I would say out of every month of 2024, this season right here, this is the most potent season. Why? Because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and we have this Pluto transiting out of Capricorn and moving into Aquarius. So this is a big shift. And we all have Scorpio in our chart. What house your Scorpio is in, pay attention. Because that's where the big shifts. Scorpio placement, your 8th house placement. And if you want to look at three big things to look at would be your placement where you have Capricorn, because that's where you're going to know where this ending is coming from. Capricorn. Whatever house Capricorn is in, that's where you're going to experience the experience. It's just about 10 o'clock now. And like I said, if you have questions, if you have comments, I urge you to go ahead and email me. If you're watching through Facebook, you can message me. Let me know you want to book a reading. You can start off with a 15-minute complimentary session. And please be expected to expand on that because I really want you to take a deep dive in understanding who you are. And I would love to hear from you that you would like to join my mailing list, to be on the waiting list for the astrological and numerology makeup course that's coming in March. That's also going to include 12 months of transit and chart readings. 12 months transits and general readings so you can better understand your chart. We will go through the basics and the studies, and then you could take a deeper dive and really understanding you. So I'm wishing you a well night. Get some rest, or if you're just getting up in the morning now, have a magical day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I plan to be back to share some more energy because there's lots coming through, lots of transitionings happening. Get ready for the change, get ready for the shift. And like I said before, buckle up, buttercup, because November is going to be a wild ride. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. Till we meet again on the other side.